The apparel company American Giant made a big splash a few years ago when its U.S.-made sweatshirts were declared the greatest hoodie ever made. That produced a huge demand for the hoodies, but American Giant refused to outsource production to another company. That all-American mentality is what the company's founder, Bayard Winthrop, credits with its success. His new book is titled, I Love That Company, How a New Generation of Brand Builders is Defining the Post-Amazon World. Bayard Winthrop, good morning.
Morning.
Let's go back to how this all started. So you're a guy who's working in corporate finance, decide to launch this company, somebody writes an article, it is glowing, and 36 hours, you're totally sold out.
That's right. Yeah, it was a great event for us. We were a small company at the time and got good national coverage and put us on the map. Big deal.
You don't advertise, you don't have stores, but what you say about your company and in this book about business now is that it's all about an identity and a relationship with customers?
Yeah, I think there's an interesting paradigm happening in the apparel and the retail world more generally, that as consumers are moving online more and more, they're bypassing distribution and they're caring less and less about traditional marketing, which unlocks lots of the cost structure to redeploy in ways that are more meaningful for customers, in our case, American-made. But you're seeing that happen across industries in different ways.
But why did you want your clothing to be made in the United States? People, I think, traditionally think it's going to cost more and the product may not be as good.
Well, I think the cost more part of it is true. There's a corresponding benefit, though, both in terms of, I think there's a real demand among consumers for that, but more importantly for us, it allows us to stay in much closer contact to our manufacturing sector. And I spend an awful lot of time with our cotton growers, our yarn spinners, our cut and sewers, and it allows me to keep a much better handle on the quality of the garment that's being produced.
You're making 20,000 sweatshirts a month now, and you can't keep up with the demand?
That's right. We're hiring as fast as we can in North Carolina, yep.
And people are really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, but talk about this relationship you say that now is more important once online. What is that relationship?
Well, so I think, consumers are in a pretty phenomenal moment now. I think we are no longer limited as consumers by geography, meaning what stores are nearby in the local mall. I think you can now support any brand that you want by just clicking a mouse and going to a different website. By doing that, brands are able to, A, be more efficient in what they're delivering to you, and B, unlock for consumers the ability to say, that brand is doing something that really matters to me, and therefore I'm going to support that brand. So the cost structure is changing a lot, and I think that's one of the ancillary fallouts of that is that you're seeing a lot of downward pressure on traditional retailers, the death of the mall, but you're also seeing this great flowering in online commerce that is pretty fascinating for consumers, I think, and driving that love, I think, is a big part of that consumer love.
I get the sense from the book, though, you sort of view this as an evolution. And you feel like there are other companies who are also, they've been able to tap into that sense of individualism made in the United States. Who are the companies that are doing what you're doing? Well,
there's a lot of companies that are doing direct-to-consumer business models. There aren't so many yet that are unlocking American manufacturing. And I think that's going to come. I'm actually real optimist about the manufacturing sector, in large part driven by technology. I think a lot of what's happening on the front end of the business, meaning the distribution and marketing side, is liberating a lot of things on the back side of business. So I think U.S. manufacturing is, particularly in the Carolinas, is beginning to turn a corner in a pretty exciting way. That's helped by cheaper gas prices and a lot of other factors that are helping out there. But consumers are really the ones that are pushing it. I think there's a real vote coming out of consumers saying, that matters to me, that value system matters to me, and I want to direct my dollars there.
So even though it does cost somewhat more to manufacture in America, it's not an obstacle anymore?
Well, I think the dirty secret in the apparel industry is that so much of the cost of the shirts and the sweatshirts that we buy are burned up in distribution costs and marketing costs. Right. The manufacturing piece of that is actually a small piece of the cost chain. Right. And so if you unlock that piece, it allows you to spend a bit more on the manufacturing side, and so American-made becomes a relatively small factor there.
With the holidays coming up, the guy from Slate, he needs a big gift.
He needs a big gift. He needs a big gift, that's right.
The book is I Love That Effing Company. Bayard Winthrop, CEO of American Giant, thanks so much for being with us this morning.